Hola, ¿cómo están, my compañeros? I really enjoy reading through the Congressional record. This right here is from January 5th, 2021, the day before the very peaceful protest at the Capitol. And I want to just point out something that the World Health Organization's technical lead for COVID-19. Okay, so this is January. She says, we're in for a bit of a rough start to 2021, said Maria Van Kerkhove, the World Health Organization's technical lead for COVID-19 response. But it is possible daily life in the U.S. could be closer to normal by the summer or fall, she said. Other countries are already well on their way, thanks to quarantining, testing, isolation, and contact tracing. I don't know about that. But then she goes on to say, we've seen countries bring this virus to its knees without vaccination, Van Kerkhove said. We have the tools at hand right now to actually bring the virus under control. And it seems like she is speaking about bringing the people under control, but still, nonetheless, she is speaking very positively about, with a bit of positivity about what was transpiring that early in the year. And then Joe Biden came on the scene and tries to say that nobody had even received any vaccines. This right here is an article to the left. All of this writing is from CNN. You can see at the bottom, very last paragraph. This is very interesting. Mr. Palmer, I believe, or the speaker. Let's see. Is this Mr. Palmer still? Oh, it's Miss Jackson Lee. This very last column on the right, Miss Jackson Lee. She's the one that, I will leave this so you can read her words. I just want to point out that Miss Jackson Lee inserted CNN. She inserted CNN into the Congressional record. That's absurd. But even still, CNN was forced to admit there's one column or one article that says the possibility of giving half doses of the vaccine. And then at the bottom, there's an emergency department, oh no, right here, upper paragraph, middle page, study says holding back fewer doses could cut cases by 29%. And so it speaks about how many people are being vaccinated already. I want to include it, you can read it yourself, but the one thing I forgot to mention over here is that Miss Jackson Lee, she says 1 American dies from COVID-19 every 33 seconds, Mr. Speaker. Isn't that interesting? 33. I include in the record an article, and then she includes in the record an article from CNN, January 5th, 2021, saying 1 American dies from COVID-19 every 33 seconds as the vaccine rollout hits snags. Nonetheless, the vaccine was well on its way, and Joe Biden got on the scene and tried to act like nothing was even, I'm not a vaccine proponent, but still, nonetheless, they were able to execute in the way that they said they would. The last thing I want to mention is this article right here that says an emergency department employee dies of COVID-19. This is still the CNN junk. If you go to, you can read that 44 emergency department employees got sick. Only 1 died over the Christmas holiday. So that's not statistically anomalous at all. So 1 of their co-workers passed over Christmas. Out of the 44 that got COVID-19, and the 1 co-worker was diagnosed with COVID-19 that had passed. But I just want to point out that this is a Kaiser Permanente San Jose Medical Center. Kaiser Permanente working with CNN working with the Congressional record. It's just a loop. It's a loop of knowledge that you can't get other knowledge in. It's just that you can see the loop. And you're like, do you guys go outside of your loop ever? And no. The last thing I want to mention, though, is that they had, on Christmas Day, a staff member did appear briefly in the emergency department on December 25th wearing an air-powered costume, like one of those T-Rex costumes, perhaps. Any exposure, if it occurred, would have been completely innocent and quite accidental, as the individual had no COVID symptoms and only sought to lift the spirits of those around them during what is a very stressful time. So according to this individual, one, the ER was slow enough to have fun in it. So, I mean, come on. And then also, she's implying that if you don't feel sick, you obviously aren't sick. And if you're trying to help people out, then that's a good enough excuse. So, listen to your healthcare providers. I was just so interested. Miss Jackson Lee goes on to say a bunch of other things that are interesting, to say the least. But I found that this is it's just very telling about the position that the American mind was at right before they inundated us with the false insurrection. It's maddening.